I feel like you guys may not like it, but I'm just going to be honest about how I feel. Now, I know a lot of you guys may think that Muneera is being overly sensitive, but I need you guys to pay attention. Hey, lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Today, we're going to be doing a recap and a review of Heart and Hustle Houston. So, as always, I'm going to pick out some of the bits that I really want to talk about and focus on. I really want to own in on Munira and Latoria. I do also want to talk about some other things like Elena and Chloe at the end. I also want to talk about a few other bits that I really felt needs to be addressed. Okay, so please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that share button, and make sure you watch this video until the end because I have a lot to talk about. Now let's get into it. Lebrina invited the girls over to the spa, and I think it's such a beautiful spot. I'm so happy that she has a spot like that. I feel like if I was anywhere near Houston, I would definitely visit the place. It seems like a wonderful place to go with your girls. And I give Lattoria props for giving Lebrina her flowers about having a nice spa and running a really good business, because I think sometimes you may get comfortable when you get invited by your friend to an event or something that she's throwing or a service that she offers, and get so comfortable that you forget to give her flowers for an amazing job that she is doing. So I did love that. It was like a lovely woman empowerment moment. And this is what I mean about the show is still naturally fun, even though there isn't a lot of drama on the show at the moment. Now, I do want to talk about Lattoria really quickly. So I liked that Lebrina encouraged her to have a conversation with the man. Now, it can't be me because I hate to call a man first, but I feel like hopefully it works out for her. Now, there was one thing that gave me a little bit of a pause, and I'm in two minds about it. So the man basically was like, oh, I can't do this weekend because I'm out of town. I understand that. Then the next weekend, it's my birthday. Okay, why couldn't you want to invite her, include her in some plans for maybe before or after or sort of around your birthday? It just doesn't seem like he was keen enough. Like, why couldn't you do maybe after work sometime this week or next week? He just did not seem as eager. And this is the reason why I don't like to make the first move with men, especially because I like a high effort man. When you have a man that doesn't really put a lot of effort in, or expects you to take the lead, and you lead by setting up the day, the next thing you're going to be leading throughout this relationship. If he was that keen on meeting you, if you show that you are available, and then he is not setting it up to see you ASAP, then that's one issue, right? That shows he's not really eager, he's not really keen, he doesn't see you like that. It's not that deep to him. So the reason I say I'm in two minds is because I'm also a very busy person. So most times if I'm going to be going on a first date, for instance, it may take a while before I can book a first date with somebody, because I'm just like, I'm too busy to fit you in. And it's a first date. I don't know if I'm going to like you, and I don't want to move my plans to meet you up on the first date. However, after the first date, if I know that you're a good vibe and all of that, then I can schedule things in. So that's why I say I'm in two minds. If he's like me, then maybe that's why he's not really eager. But then I feel like men tend to want to pursue and hunt when they're really into you. So I don't think that man is into her. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, let's talk about Munira and Latoria. Here is the thing. I know some of you guys feel like Munira is being overly sensitive. Is she sensitive about it? Yes. Is it an area that is a trigger for her? Absolutely, yes. And I'm not surprised. I was thinking about what could have caused that. And before she even said it in the confessionals, I was thinking about the fact that imagine as a child, you're growing up and everyone is talking about you looking like a child. Even when you get into a teenager and people are like, oh, you're not beautiful, you're cute. All these things can affect how somebody sees themselves, and they may be triggered by comments like that. Here is where Lattoria was wrong. The first time she made a joke about it, all right, cool. Munira smiled, but let her know she ain't about it. She even said to her, when she talks about the apple juice, Don't say it anymore. This is the last time. Da, da, da. She was literally drawing a boundary and letting her know, I do not like this. Yet, guess what Lattoria did again? She said it again right after that. Lattoria is one of those people that make the same jokes over and over again. Just because you said it once and we laughed does not mean it's going to be funny if you keep saying it over and over and over again. Even for people who are not overly sensitive. Okay, you said I look 11. Okay, now I look 21. Okay, now you're talking about apple juice. I tell you, don't talk about it no more. Then you say apple. Think about the compounding effect when it feels like you keep throwing little jabs at me about me looking young. Like, at some point, I don't want to hear it anymore. Especially if I'm telling you, if I'm literally drawing that boundary and telling you, don't bring up apple juice anymore, then you say apple. It's like, sis, you're doing too much. And here is the thing. When you make jokes, people have different tolerance levels. And it's not right, it's not wrong. We all have different tolerance levels. There are some people, you make certain jokes and they would be laughing and you'd be listening to the joke like, this is so crass and out of order. But to them, that's fine. To them, it's okay, right? But if someone lets you know that they don't like something, immediately stop talking about it. Stop doubling down. There is no need. There is no reason to do that. If anything, it just makes it feel like you're being too pushy. You want to have the last word when it is not necessary. And just because somebody asserts their boundaries while smiling with you, whilst trying to be respectful with you, does not mean that it is not a boundary. That's the thing. Some people only respond to, don't you ever talk to me like that. Don't you ever say I'm this, right? But even if somebody is telling you, no, it's not a compliment, you should have said, oh, I'm so sorry. I just mean like you look really young. You're beautiful, whatever. She could have said that. And it's such a blessing. She could have said that and let it be done. But she still wanted to be like, oh yeah, okay, add 11 to that. Okay, girl, fine. Then brought up the apple juice comment again. Or apple again after bringing apple juice up the first time. So I just think that it was Lattoria's mistake was not just letting it go after this lady done told you she does not want you to talk about no apple juice no more. Okay, she should have just left it that way. Now, do I think Lattoria meant it in a negative way? Absolutely not. I don't think she meant it in a negative way. I think that is Lattoria's, that is how Lattoria shows up in the world. She makes jokes. But the funniest thing is, Lattoria is so sensitive. For somebody who makes a lot of jokes at people's expense, she is so sensitive. Now, like I said, intention matters. I don't think her intention was to come at Muneera. I think she just wanted to genuinely tell her, you look beautiful, like you look younger, which for most people is a blessing. But if you think about being in Muneera's shoes, growing up and people are constantly saying you're not pretty, you're cute, you can't even be sexy. Or like she said in her confessionals, people not taking her seriously at work because they're constantly talking about how young she looks. That would be frustrating for anyone who is in a leadership position. Imagine you want to be like telling your staff, I need you to do this, but they're not taking it seriously because you don't look domineering, you look young, you look smiley. It's not helpful, and I understand how that can be a trigger for somebody. Now, I really want to talk about Ro real quick. It's going to be a really, really quick comment, but I thought Ro going to therapy was interesting, and I feel like Ro keeps talking about like how a lot of people around her are not necessarily authentic, and then she is, and she doesn't know how to place them. I feel like it depends. Now, on the one hand, it could be that genuinely some of these people are inauthentic, right? It's possible. She is seeing them a lot more than we are seeing on the screen, so it's possible. However, I do question whether it is what a lot of people do. And when I say people, I mean more outspoken people do or say when they feel like everyone else is inauthentic because they're not as outspoken and they're not as transparent as them. And I want to challenge that mindset, because just because somebody is not as vocal does not mean they're inauthentic or they're not living their best life or they have a mask on. Some people are just reserved. Some people need to get to know you to feel comfortable talking to you about certain things. And some people are genuinely living, for the most part, a very stress-free life. So just because they're not constantly talking about sex, or constantly like out partying or talking about men, does not mean that they have a mask on. So I think we will find out which one it is the more we watch Roe. But I will not be surprised if it is the latter, which is where I feel like a lot of outspoken people are, where they feel like because they're vocal, I say my mind, you don't speak your mind, you have a mask on, you're not this. And it's like, nah, I just have a different personality to you, and that is okay. I am being authentically myself because this is who I am, and you are being authentically yourself because that is who you are. So I didn't quite agree with the therapist on that. I think it's more nuanced than that, but that is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Now let's talk about the Elena of it all. When I tell you Elena was trying to get her lick back, believe it. I personally think when Chloe walks in with that man, now I will say he looks good. Everybody agrees that he looks good. I think Elena was really doubling down on his age because she hated what Chloe said about her husband not being fine. So I felt like this was a payback moment, because I didn't understand why she kept on talking about, well, he looks 25 and people in high school. Like, girl, that was completely unnecessary. There was no need for that. It's actually very disrespectful and completely out of order. So I just think that that should not have even happened. But I feel like Elena was just trying to get her lick back. But Chloe did not pay her no mind though. And this is the thing. I feel like Chloe is not that sensitive. Chloe's just there like, I'm just here. I do not care. I will address it when I want to address it. But you're not about to take me out of my element until I'm ready. I will say, them talking about Elena and Josh was distasteful. And let me clarify, Lattoria was the one that brought it up. I feel like Lattoria is there to move the storylines forward. She doesn't really care who she hurts in the process. I don't think she's here for a friendship. She is here to get that bag, in my opinion. I may be wrong. Because I feel like if you think about all of the kind of conflicts that has come up, she has been in the middle of it. So Lattoria ran back what Elena said to Chloe, and then now she's bringing up the whole vow renewal. I'm like, bringing up a vow renewal when you know these people are going through struggles is not the right approach. However, is it good for reality TV? Absolutely. But is that what a friend would do? Absolutely not. And so that's why I feel like Lattoria is just there to push the storylines forward, in my opinion. I feel like this particular moment made me love Lebrina even more. I love what she said in her confessionals. She's like, we know what's going on in there between them. We cannot put them on display like this. Now that's a friend. If you guys were wondering, if I was on the show, the person that I would be buddies with would be Lebrina, because that is someone who genuinely cares for you. And you can even see that when she pulls Josh to the side to talk about Chloe, just to make sure that Josh has good intentions for Chloe. That's what a friend will do, just to make sure that this is a good, especially if you have reservations, especially with the age. I don't know who wouldn't have reservations considering the age difference. If I were her friend too, I would have reservations. So I love that she did pull Josh to the side just to have a conversation with her about it. Now, the bit that I want to end today's conversation on is particularly about Elena and Josh. And I really want to end it here because I feel like a lot of women end up in situations like that, and I just wanted to flag that because I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but Josh saying that he doesn't want to have the vow renewal until they hit 20 years of marriage shows that man, he's not really a high effort man, because in your mind, shouldn't you be thinking, we're going through a hard time right now. I need to pull out all the stops. My wife and I have not been having sex. I need to step up. I need to move back into the room. How can I make that happen? Let's do a vow renewal. Let's do something. Let's do something grand. Let me do whatever it is that I need to do to make this better between us. Instead, it just feels like he's just going on to go on. Because I think low-key, it feels like Elena would never leave him. And he is a low-effort man. If you marry a low-effort man, you will struggle. It's not a curse. You will struggle because you will be the one working for that relationship to succeed. You will be pulling all the stops and he will be doing the barest minimum. And when things shift, where you need him to step up, he will not step up. He will be lackadaisical about the relationship. He wouldn't do anything. See how she was out here in the confessionals crying, shedding so much tears just because the man was so lackadaisical, and so he just didn't care. And I'm just like, that's what happens when you marry a low effort guy that, you just feel like, oh, he's so calm. Sometimes it's not calmness that you see, it's laziness. It's an inability to show up in relationships. It's an inability to pull out all the stops when it comes to relationships. So before you go ahead and date that laid back man, and I'm saying that in quotation marks, make sure that you are also a low effort woman, or do not care about having a man that pulls out all the stops for you. But as for me, high effort wins all the time. On that note, thank you so much for listening. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.